10 secret things narcissists want from you when there's no contact. No more calls. No more texts. No more contact at all. And now, you're finally giving yourself the space to heal, to breathe, to reflect, to reclaim your life. But something strange is happening. They're still there in your thoughts, in their actions, in the way they try to reappear in your world, even from a distance. Because narcissists don't truly let go. Even when there's no contact, they want something from you. Something they can't explain. Something they won't admit. So, what are the secret things a narcissist wants from you when you've already disappeared? What do they search for in silence? What do they chase through others? What do they imagine about your life now that you're gone? Today, we're going deep into the psychology of narcissistic behavior, not to stir fear or confusion, but to offer clarity. If you've ever wondered why a narcissist keeps circling back, why they seem obsessed with your absence, or why they smear your name after you left, this video will reveal 10 secret things narcissists still want from you when there's no contact, and why their need never truly goes away. Because once you stop giving them energy, they begin to unravel. And what they want now isn't love. It's control. It's validation. It's power. And it's far more unsettling than most people realize. Let's start by understanding one key psychological truth. Narcissists rely heavily on emotional fuel known as narcissistic supply to maintain their unstable sense of self-worth. When you were in their life, you gave them that fuel, whether through praise, conflict, or simply your presence. And now that you're gone, completely gone, they feel the absence like an emotional void. That doesn't mean they miss you. It means they miss what you provided. The attention, the reaction, the stimulation. So what exactly do narcissists secretly want from you when there's no contact? Here are 10 psychological truths behind what happens in their mind based strictly on behavioral patterns observed by experts. 1. They want proof that you still think about them. Narcissists thrive on influence, even if that influence comes from afar. Once you go no contact, they often retreat into their own minds, replaying conversations, analyzing your words, wondering how you're doing. Why? Because they need confirmation that you haven't fully moved on. They imagine you still thinking about them. They picture you confused, hurt, longing. They convince themselves you still carry their shadow. Because if you're still thinking about them, even in pain, then they still have some kind of hold over you. And that imagined connection soothes their ego in the only way it can now, silently. 2. They want to believe you're still hurting. One of the most disturbing things narcissists secretly desire is the belief that you're suffering without them. They may act like they never cared. They may pretend you were nothing. They may rewrite history to make themselves look like the victim. But beneath the surface, they hope you're still broken, still lost, still trying to make sense of what happened. Because if you're still hurting, it means they succeeded in damaging you emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And that imagined damage becomes their final victory. Even if it's all in their head, even if you've already healed, even if you're thriving without them, they tell themselves the story where you didn't escape, where you still carry their weight, where you still long for their presence. Because that fantasy gives them comfort. That illusion keeps their ego intact. 3. They want to rewrite history without you in it. Narcissists rewrite history constantly. They tell themselves stories that paint them as victims, heroes, or misunderstood geniuses, whatever serves their ego best. But you were part of their story. Moments when you stood up to them. Times when you exposed their flaws. Instances when you chose yourself over them. These memories disrupt their fantasy. They don't align with the version of reality they've created. And because of that, they can't fully erase you from their minds. So instead of accepting your absence, they try to remove you from their narrative. They claim you were unstable. They say you were the one who caused the chaos. They insist you were replaceable. But the fact that they talk about you at all proves one thing. They still carry your presence. And they still struggle to write a new ending without you in it. For they want someone to mirror their ego again. Narcissists live off reflection, not just admiration, but the emotional mirroring of those around them. Empaths, intuitive individuals, and highly sensitive people often serve as these mirrors, absorbing the narcissist's energy, reflecting their emotions, and reinforcing their image. But once you walk away and stay gone, that mirror disappears. And suddenly, they're alone with their thoughts. No one to validate their performance. No one to absorb their chaos. No one to reflect their greatness back at them. So they seek out new sources, new people who can unknowingly take your place. But none of them quite match the rhythm you had. None of them challenge them the same way. None of them leave them feeling as shaken. Which means, despite your absence, you still linger as a person who once understood their game. And now, they want someone to bring it back. Someone who makes them feel powerful again. Someone who fuels their ego the way you did. And until they find that person or create a convincing illusion, they remain emotionally unstable. 5. They want to know how you're living now. Even after you've disappeared from their life, narcissists often become fixated on your journey, especially if they suspect you found peace. They wonder how you're doing. They imagine what your life looks like. They check social media under fake accounts, scrolling through your updates, your photos, your life from a distance. Why? Because they need to know if you're still affected by them, if you've changed, if you're still searching for closure, if you're still haunted by their presence. Because if you're moving forward, growing stronger, rebuilding your life, finding joy, it shakes their entire worldview. It proves that you didn't need them to be happy, that you weren't broken by them, that you found peace without them. And that kind of independence strips them of their final weapon, the belief that they had power over your future. 6. They want to regain control, even if it's only in their mind. Control is everything to a narcissist. And when you disappear, no explanations, no reactions, no looking back, they lose it. Not just with you, but with their own sense of stability. So they begin imagining ways to regain dominance, even if it's only in their mind. They replay moments where they think they won. They twist past interactions to make themselves look better. They create scenarios where they come back into your life and prove they still matter. Because in the absence of real control, they settle for mental control. And that imagined return, that rewritten ending, becomes their silent obsession. Because the second they accept that they lost you, that you're truly free, they begin to fall apart. And falling apart terrifies them. 7. They want to be needed again. Narcissists crave being needed not for genuine connection, but for validation. They want to believe that you still depend on them, that you still seek their approval, that you still wait for their affection. Because if you needed them even slightly, it would mean they still have power. But here's the truth. You stopped needing them. You broke free from their games. You reclaimed your voice. You stopped reacting the way they wanted. And that choice to no longer be dependent haunts them. Because they realize something terrifying. You survived them. You grew without them. You found purpose beyond them. And that kind of freedom threatens their entire identity. Because if you could move on without them, then maybe no one really needs them. And that thought, it eats at them. 8. They want to prove you haven't fully escaped them. Narcissists don't handle being forgotten. They build their world around being seen admired, feared, respected, even hated. But being ignored, that's unbearable. So they search desperately for signs that you're still caught in their web. Did you cry after leaving? Do you still talk about them? Are you still affected by their presence, even indirectly? They want to believe that you haven't fully escaped them, that you still carry their weight, that you still feel their impact, that you still remember them. Because if you do even in pain, then they win. Even if only in their imagination. But if you've truly moved on, if you've stopped giving them space in your mind, if you've chosen peace over drama, then they face the ultimate defeat. You saw through them. You walked away. And you stayed gone. 9. They want to trigger a reaction just one more time. Even when they can't reach you directly, narcissists still try to provoke you subtly. They might send messages through mutual friends. They might show up unexpectedly. They may leave comments online just to see if you respond. Why? Because they need proof that you still react, that you still care, that you still feel something. Even if it's anger, even if it's sadness, even if it's frustration. Because any reaction, even negative ones, tells them they still affect you. And that's enough to keep them emotionally invested. Because to a narcissist, being forgotten is worse than being hated. Being ignored is worse than being resisted. Being erased is worse than being rejected. So they test your silence just to see if you'll break. Just to see if you'll give them anything at all. because even a small reaction gives them a hit of the emotional fuel they crave. 10. They want to confirm that you still carry their shadow. Perhaps the most painful realization for a narcissist is knowing that you've moved on and that you're thriving without them, while they continue circling the same patterns, repeating the same destructive behaviors. You are becoming stronger, wiser, and more grounded. This contrast is unbearable for them because it proves that their presence wasn't essential, that your healing didn't require their permission, that your life is improving and they had nothing to do with it. And that's a wound that never heals. Because deep down, the narcissist knows the truth. You were the one who saw through them. You were the one who walked away. You were the one who changed everything. And now you're healing. Without them, without their chaos, without their control. And that makes you unforgettable. Because you weren't just another person in their life. You were the one who left and never looked back. And that's something they can't erase. So here's the truth. When you cut contact, when you choose peace over pain, the narcissist doesn't simply forget you. They search for you. They idealize you. They rewrite your story. Because they need something from you even now, even from a distance. They want to know you still hurt. They want to believe you still need them. They want to feel like they still matter. But the strongest form of resistance you can offer is silence. By staying gone. By refusing to engage. By walking away and never looking back. Because the moment you stop giving them your energy, your attention, your time, your emotional space, you strip them of their oxygen. You erase their stage. You remove their audience. You deny them the fuel they depended on. And that's what changes everything. Because you didn't just survive them. You outgrew them. You saw through them. You walked away. And now you're healing. Without them. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Remember, healing begins the moment you stop giving your energy to those who never deserved it. Stay strong, stay wise, and most importantly, stay free.